Here we go.
What's up everybody and welcome to Nintendo Land. Today we're going to do something different and we're going to look at every single character from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and decide what would be their Echo Fighters. We're going to go through pretty much every character except for the Echo Fighters themselves, but we're going to go through the characters and see all the possible options that they have for Echo Fighters. Now we're not going to list every single one, but some of the most important ones, and we're going to do this with pretty much every character, so sit back. It's going to be a ride. It's over 65 characters, so it's gonna be long. So let's get right on to it. So we're gonna be going through these by the order that Nintendo put them into the game. So on the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate website, we're gonna be going through in that specific order. So starting off with Mario. Also, please be aware that I'm not super familiar with every single series, including the Metal Gear Solid series, the Fire Emblem series, and for the Pokemon series, I kind of had my friend Eli help me. So if he said anything weird and out of place, go ahead and get at him in the comments. You'll see him, he comments every time. So for Mario, we obviously have Shadow Mario, but since Bowser Jr. already turns into Shadow Mario for his special, we're going to go with Il Piantissimo because he really represents Mario a lot. He looks like Mario, he plays as Mario in Super Mario Sunshine, so it works out pretty good. For DK, we have either Chunky Kong or Funky Kong, but I think most people want Funky Kong, and it makes more sense since he's in recent games such as Tropical Freeze. For Link, we obviously have Dark Link, but you could also use Ravio from Link Between Worlds because he's basically Link from Lorule, but another really good one would be Linkle. Linkle's pretty much female Link in the games, and she only appears in Hyrule Warriors, but she's a good character, so why not? Even though Samus has Dark Samus already, there's also tons of other Echo Fighters for her. You have all of the Prime Hunters, they would all make sense, especially Psylocke since he might make an appearance in the new Metroid Prime 4 since we've seen all these clues about him. You have Rundus from Metroid Prime 3, Adam Malkovich, which is pretty much her father figure, even though he died, you can still put him in. You have Anthony Higgs, one of her best friends from the Galactic Federation. You have the X-Parasite you could even use as well, so there's lots of options for Samus. For Yoshi, we obviously have Yabi. No, it's the creepiest meme I've ever seen in my life. I don't know who created that. But we have Birdo, obviously, that's the obvious one. Birdo would just be perfect for Yoshi. And you could also have Yarn Yoshi, but I think Yarn Yoshi would work more as a skin. So at first I thought Waddle Dee, but you would have to find a character with the same properties as Kirby, and that's pretty difficult. I tried Gooey, but in the end, I think Prince Fluff would make the most sense. We don't get to see much of him since he is in a Yarn game and a Yarn aesthetic the most of the time. Who knows, maybe he has a 3D form. For Fox, I just decided to go with the rest of the Star Fox team, probably being Slippy Toad, but I also included Peppy Hare and maybe even James McCloud. For Pikachu, you could have any of his clone characters from the series, such as Raichu, Plushu, and Minun, Pachirisu, Emolga, Dedenne, and even Togedemaru. For Luigi, we obviously have Mr. L from Super Paper Mario, or they could even use Egad. Now for Ness, you could really use any of his friends, being Paula, Jeff, Pooh, or even Pokey. So, I see a lot of people wanting Ninten, and Ninten could help fill in that third trio with Ness, Lucas, and then Ninten. Now for Captain Falcon, he actually has some good ones that could work. Blood Falcon would be really good, his enemy Deathborn or even Black Shadow would also be good choices. Or you could use a girl formation of Captain Falcon, which would be Jodie Summers. Or really any type of GX cast would be fine. For Jigglypuff, we just threw in characters that kind of fit her personality, such as Clefairy, Wigglytuff, Blissey, and or even Chansey. Peach's Echo Fighters can help represent smaller characters from different series, such as Shadow Queen from Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, Princess Shrew from Mario & Luigi Partners in Time, or even Crackletta from Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, but odds are I'd probably go with around Pauline, even though she's a stage, hazard or whatever you want to call her. Pauline would be a good choice. Bowser can also rep the Mario & Luigi series with Dark Bowser or Midbiss, or he could go to different costume type changes like Dry Bowser or Meowser. Or even Bowletta. Now the Ice Climbers were obviously tough, but one similarity I found was with Captain Toad and Toadette. They could potentially use their pickaxes as hammers and kind of function the same way. And for Sheik, the only real one I could come up with is Impa, even though I would want Impa as a real character and not a clone. This video is sponsored by Daddy L's Caskets. Here we put all your dead characters to rest and you don't have to worry about them anymore. Daddy L's Caskets. Get them while they're on sale. For Zelda, we obviously have Princess Hilda from Lorule of Link Between Worlds. Works perfectly, no problems there. We have Dr. Mario, why not Dr. Luigi? Perfect skin swap, perfect Echo Fighter. Pichu, just like Pikachu, could also use any of Pikachu's clones, and I think Pichu would work better for some of them. For Falco, you can have one of the Star Wolf teammates, such as Leon Pawlowski or Andrew Oikini. Now, like I said, for the Fire Emblem series, I'm not that familiar, but I came up with two characters that might work, such as Cheyenne and Lyn. I know lots of people like Lyn, so that's probably the best choice. For Young Link, I came up with Ravio, since he pretty much has the same weapons, and he's just the low world version of Link. For Ganondorf, we could once again go back to low world using Yuga, but I thought Demise would be more significant, since he is the first reincarnation, or the first incarnation of Ganon. For Mewtwo, we obviously use... well, wrong picture. We obviously use Shadow Mewtwo, because it's Mewtwo, but in his shadow. For Roy, Isaac from Golden Sun would work best, even though people really want him as a character, and he was actually just now rumored as a new character for the game, so who knows. Game & Watch was also kind of tricky just because of his flat structure, but Paper Mario would work well, even though I want him as a main character, but Maxwell from Scribblenauts could also be a good choice. Meta Knight has a couple of really good choices, such as Galactic Knight, obviously, but you also have Dark Meta Knight and Morpho Knight, the new knight mentioned in Kirby Star Allies. For Pit, since he already has Dark Pit, I really couldn't come up with too many, but I thought of Klonoa from a game I used to play as a kid. I don't know if too many of you guys remember him, but yeah, here you go. Now, even though it seems like Echo Fighters are coming from the character of the series that they are echoing, I decided to mix things up a little bit and go out on a limb. Zero Suit Samus, Nina Williams from Tekken. They look alike, they kind of fight alike, it would work out. Wario, we obviously have Mr. Krabs. Nah, that mod is awesome, by the way. But Wart, King Wart from Super Mario Bros. 2. Why not? They kind of work alike, I guess. For Snake, we have Gray Fox, which I know is already an assist trophy, but then we could use Raiden. Once again, for Ike, for Fire Emblem characters, I try to look at warriors and try to see who had a heavy swing with their sword, and we're looking right now at Zelgius or Ryoma. You guys can help me out in the comments for the Fire Emblem characters, but what do you guys think? For Pokemon Trainer, we have obviously just different trainers, different starters, but I got kind of creative. What if there was a DK barrel where you could have either Tiny Kong, Lanky Kong, or Chunky Kong, and they could jump back in and out, and then Cranky was the one that summoned them, like the Pokemon Trainer? I need to stop. For Diddy, you'd have to have Dixie. I mean, come on, just change a little bit of things like the jetpack and you'll be set. Use the barrels from Barrel Blast, or if you have to, but they could also use Kiddy Kong. You know, people like him. Like, people don't like Kiddy Kong. Coming this summer, the brand new game mode that everybody has been waiting for. Finally, for the first time ever, Super Smash Bros. Subspace Tour. For Lucas, he would have the same characters as Ness. It's pretty much the same characters from the game. Oh goodness, here we go. Well, Sonic, you obviously have Shadow that everybody wants, but here's all the rest. You have Metal Sonic, Espio, Classic Sonic, Silver, Jet the Hawk, and even Mighty the Armadillo could work for a Sonic clone. With King DDD, I decided to go with Wart. I know we've been bringing him up a lot, but he'll come back in here again later for someone else. But Bonkers from the Kirby series, and even Darunia from The Legend of Zelda would work really good as Echo Fighters. For Olimar, you obviously have his good buddy Louie, or any of the other explorers from Pikmin 3, being Alph, Brittany, or Charlie, or you could even use the president of Hakatate. For Lucario, we came up with two, being Mienshao and Zorora. Rob was a really tough one, so I decided to come up with more robots from the Nintendo series, being Chibi Robo and Rob64 from Star Fox. For Toon Link, we have Tetra, which would work really well, Medley, Toon Zelda, and Phantom Zelda. Now, Toon Zelda would be more of a Zelda clone, but as far as Phantom Zelda goes, Phantom Zelda has a sword and armor and stuff and could probably play just like Toon Link. The best option for Wolf would be the Star Wolf teammate Panther Coroso. Villager is also one character that has many options since most everybody in the game plays and it kind of works the same. Isabelle would work, Tom Nook, KK Slider, they would all work really well, so it doesn't really matter who they pick here. Mega Man and any of his fellow robot companions could join the battle, including X, Proto Man, Bass, and even Beck from Mighty No. 9. If anybody in the world still cares about that game. Man, for Wii Fit Trainer, we have no one else but Waluigi. It just, come on. Nah, but being honest, the balance board. Moving on. Rosalina and Luma actually have a good chance of having a good Echo Fighter, being Lily and Cosmog from the Pokemon franchise. Or maybe you can use Kamek, I mean their body shapes are the same. For Little Mac, you've got the other boxers such as Glass Joe, Piston Honda, or even Mr. Sandman. Doc Lewis, his trainer, could also make an appearance, as well as Mike Tyson. You could also have Springman and Ribbon Girl, but I want them as actual fighters. For Greninja, his echoes could be Sceptile, Toxicroak, or even Frogadier. For the Mii fighters, well, add more Miis, I don't know, since you're buddy-buddy with Microsoft now, Xbox avatars. For Palutena, you can use Veriti or carry on the villain trope and use Medusa. Pac-Man's obviously Miss Pac-Man, let's just throw that out there, but he also had this weird kid named Junior that showed up in games like Pac-Man World 2, but I don't know. For Robin, I did some research, and I found lots of people want Tharja and Leo as the Echo Fighter, and I don't know much about them, but whatever. We now have O2 on the batter, and Sora strikes out unbelievably looking, and he is not happy, folks. Oh, he is now tossed out by Sakurai. He is just not in a good mood, guys. Sora has just struck out. It is not good for this character. Fans are not going to be happy. Down to the final 10, we have Shulk, and I decided to go with Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Even though he won't have his blades with him, I think he'd be really cool as an Echo Fighter, or you could have Dunban, and he would also pretty much fit in the same category. For Bowser Jr., we have Fawful from the Mario & Luigi series. He's a great antagonist, and he would kind of play the same with his own inventions. You could also use Dr. Eggman, but once again, that is leaving its own series, so not sure if that would happen. Duck Hunt was tough because obviously you want to say Banjo and Kazooie, but I want them to be characters. They have to be characters, not clone fighters. So I thought really hard, and I looked on the internet, and some people had an idea for Poochie and Stork from the Yoshi Island series, and they could combine and make some type of cool duo, just like Duck Hunt. Ryu has some obvious choices here, being Ken, M. Bison, Akuma, or even Evil Ryu, but clearly many people want Ken, so that's the best choice. For Cloud, you obviously have Zack Fair, or you could even have Sephiroth, but the most important one to me is Impa from The Legend of Zelda. Oh my goodness, Impa needs to be a main character, but if she could... Have you seen the mod? I mean, it's great. The only one I can find that people wanted for Corrin is Tiki from the Three Houses. I don't know much about her. All I know is just a trailer so far, one trailer, so... Okay. Bayonetta, you obviously have Jean, but Rodin would have made a really good character if it wasn't for him being an assist trophy. Let's just put it out there. The Inklings, you obviously have the Salmonid. I mean, the Frying Pans would go nuts. Now, you have the Octolings, and that has to happen. You would literally have 8 new different types of Inkling-type characters, but in Octoling form, since they're all different, variations and not just costumes. For Ridley, it was another hard one. I could have said Meta Ridley, but that looked like there was already a skin for that in the game, so maybe even Robo Ridley or Blablonodon from Mario & Luigi. That weird pterodactyl that probably no one in the world remembers right now. And yeah, it's Blablonodon. It's a weird name. Get used to it. For Simon, you have none other than the other Belmont, Leon, and that's pretty much it for him. And finally, last but not least, we have King K. Rool. And back again, we have his good buddy Wart, because he's built the same. He kind of worked the same. It kind of works. He's got the crown and the body built, kind of like DDD2. But you also have Lord Frederick from Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. He is also built the same and kind of plays the same. He's got a helmet, a Viking helmet that could work as the crown, and you could throw in other moves, and it would pretty much play the same. I think this would be a really good idea and the best idea, and probably a realistic fit for King K. Rool. Well, guys, that is the whole entire roster, well, current roster, and we'll add more when more characters are added to the game. If you guys had better ideas or more ideas for Echo Fighters, for any of these characters, comment down below. And before we go, one last message from one of our sponsors. With Smash Bop, you get all of your characters' favorite songs, even though they're not in the game, including Shadow, Dixie Kong, Spyro, and even everybody's favorite Bandicoot, Crash. Smash Bop 38 is available everywhere now, so make sure you pick up your copy before it's gone. Your favorite character not in Smash? Get Smash Bop 38.